Hi, everybody. This is Jimmy, and you're reading with Jimmy. We're reading A Farewell to Arms. This is the beginning of Book 3, Chapter 25 and 26. Chapter 25. Now, in the fall, the trees were all bare and the roads were muddy, and I rode to Gorzia from Udine on a camion truck. We passed other camions on the road, and I looked to the country. The mulberry trees were bare, and the fields were brown. There were wet, dead leaves on the road from the rows of bare trees, and the men were working on the road, tamping stone in the ruts from piles of crushed stone along the side of the road between the trees. We saw the town with a mist over it that cut off the mountains. We crossed the river, and I saw that it was running high. It had been raining. Don't forget what raining means, ladies and gentlemen, in the mountains. We came into the town, past the factories, and then the houses and the villas, and I saw that many more houses had been hit. On a narrow street, we passed a British Red Cross ambulance. The driver wore a cap, and his face was thin and very tanned. I didn't know him. I got down from the camion in the big square in front of the town major's house. The driver handed down my rucksack, and I put it on, and swung on the two musettes and walked to our villa. It didn't feel like a homecoming. I made a note here, and why would it? I walked down the damp gravel driveway looking at the villa through the trees, and the windows were all shut, but the door was open. So I went in, and I found the major sitting at the table in the bare room with maps and typed sheets of paper on the wall. "Hello," he said. "How are you?" He looked older and drier. "I'm good," I said. "How's everything?" "It's all over," he said. "Take off your kit and sit down." I put my pack and the two musettes on the floor and my cap on the pack. I brought the other chair over from the wall and sat down by the desk. "It's been a bad summer," the major said. "Are you strong now?" "Yes." "Did you ever get the decorations?" "Yes, I got them fine. Thank you very much." "Let's see them." I opened my cape so he could see the two ribbons. "Did you get the boxes with the medals?" "No, just the papers," I said. "The boxes will come later. That takes more time." "What do you want me to do?" I asked. "The cars are all away. There are 6 up north at Caporetto. You know Caporetto." "Oh, yes," I said. I remembered a little white town with a campanile in the valley, a bell tower. It was a clean little town, and there was a fine fountain in the square. "They are all working from there." "There are many sick now. The fighting is over." "Where are the others?" I asked. "There are 2 up in the mountains and 4 still in the Baniza. The other 2 ambulance sections are in the Carso with the Third Army." "What do you wish me to do?" "Well, you can go and take over the 4 cars at the Benzia, if you like. Gino has been up there a long time. You haven't seen it up there, have you?" "No," I said. "It was very bad. We lost 3 cars." "I heard about it," I said. "Yes, Rinaldi wrote you." "Where is Rinaldi?" "Oh, he's here at the hospital. He's had a summer and fall of it." "I believe it," I said. "It has been bad," the major said. "You couldn't believe how bad it's been." "I've often thought that you were lucky to be hit when you were." "I know I was," I said. "Next year will be worse," the major said. "Perhaps they will attack now. They say that they are to attack, but I can't believe it. It's still too late. You saw the river." "Yes, it's high already. I don't believe they will attack now that the rains have started. We will have the snow soon." "What about your countrymen? Will there be other Americans besides yourself?" They're training an army of 10 million, I said. "Well, I hope we get some of them. But the French will hog them all. We'll never get any down here." "All right, you stay here tonight and go out tomorrow with the little car and send Gino back. I'll send somebody with you that knows the road, and Gino will tell you everything. They are shelling quite a bit little still, but it is all over. You will want to see the Beninza. I'm glad to see it, I said. I'm glad to be back with you again, Signor Maggiore. He smiled. You're very good to say so. I am very tired of this war. If I was away, I don't know if I would come back. Is it so bad? I asked. Yes, it's so bad and worse. Go get cleaned up and find your friend Rinaldi. I went out and carried my bags up the stairs. Rinaldi wasn't in the room, but his things were there. And I sat down on the bed and unwrapped my puttees and took the shoe off my right foot. When I lay back in bed, I was tired and my right foot hurt. It seemed silly to lie on a bed with one shoe off, so I sat up and unlaced the other shoe and dropped it on the floor and then lay back on the blanket again. The room was stuffy, with the window closed, but I was too tired to get up and open it. Really. I saw my things were all in one corner of the room. Outside, it was getting dark. I lay on the bed and I thought about Catherine and I waited for Rinaldi. I was going to try not to think about Catherine except at night before I went to sleep. But now I was tired and there was nothing to do, so I lay and thought about her. I was thinking about her when Rinaldi came in, and he looked just the same. Perhaps he was a little thinner. Well, baby, he said. I sat up in the bed. He came over, sat down, and put his arm around me. Good old baby. He whacked me on the back, and I held both his arms. Old baby, he said. Let me see your knee. I have to take off my pants. Take off your pants, baby. We're all friends here. I want to see what kind of job they did. I stood off and took off my breeches and pulled off the knee brace. Rinaldi sat on the floor, bent the knee gently back and forth. He ran his finger along the scar, put his thumbs together, over the kneecap, and rocked the knee gently with his fingers. Is that all the articulation you have? Yes, I said. That's a crime to send you back. They ought to get you complete articulation. It's a lot better than it was, I said. It was stiff as a board. Rinaldi bent it more. I watched his hands. He had fine surgeon's hands. I looked at the top of his head, his hair shiny, parted smoothly. He bent the knee too far. Ouch, I said. You ought to have more treatment on it with the machines, Rinaldi said. It's better than it was, I said. I see that, baby. This is something I know more about than you. And he stood up and sat down on the bed. The knee itself is a very good job. He was through with the knee. Tell me about everything. There's nothing to tell, I said. I led a quiet life. You act like a married man, he said. What's the matter with you? Nothing, I said. What's the matter with you? This war is killing me, Rinaldi said. I'm very depressed by it. He folded his hands over his knee. Oh, I said. What's the matter? Can't I even have human impulses? No, I can see that you've been having a fine time. Tell me, Rinaldi said. All summer, the narrator says. You see what I mean about who says what? All summer and all fall I've operated. I work all the time. I do everybody's work. All the hard ones they leave to me. By God, baby, I'm becoming a lovely surgeon. That sounds better. I never think. No, by God, I don't think. I just operate. That's right. But now, baby, it's all over. I don't operate now, and I feel like hell. This war, this is a terrible war, baby. You believe me when I say it. Now, you cheer me up. Did you bring the phonograph records? Yes, I said. They were wrapped in paper in a cardboard box in my rucksack, and I was too tired to get them out. Don't you feel good yourself, baby? I feel like hell, I said. This war is terrible, Rinaldi said. Come on, we'll both get drunk, be cheerful, then we'll go get our ashes dragged, and then we'll feel fine. I've had jaundice, I said, and I can't drink. And I can't get drunk. Baby, how you've come back to me. You come back serious and with a liver. I tell you, this war is a bad thing. Why did we make it anyway? We'll have a drink. I don't want to get drunk, but we'll have a drink, I said. Rinaldi went across the room to the washstand and brought back 2 glasses and a bottle of cognac. It's Austrian cognac, he said, 7 stars. It's all they captured on the San Gabriel. Were you up there? I asked. No, I haven't been anywhere. I've been here all the time operating. Look, baby, this is your old toothbrushing glass. I kept it all the time to remind me of you. To remind you to brush your teeth. No, I have my own too. I kept this to remind me of you trying to brush away the Villa Rosa from your teeth in the morning, swearing, eating aspirin, cursing harlots. Every time I see that glass, I think of you trying to clean your conscience with a toothbrush. He came over to the bed. Kiss me once and tell me you're not serious. I never kiss you. You're an ape. I know. You're a fine Anglo-Saxon boy. I know. You are the remorse boy. I know. I will wait until I see the Anglo-Saxon brushing away harlotry with a toothbrush. Put some cognac in the glass, I said. We touched glasses and drank, and Rinaldi laughed at me. I'm going to get you drunk and take out your liver and put you in a good Italian liver and make you a man again. I held the glass for some more cognac. It was dark outside. Holding the glass of cognac, I went over and opened the window. The rain had stopped falling. It was colder outside, and there was a mist in the trees. Don't throw out the cognac out the window, Rinaldi said. If you can't drink it, you give it to me. Go something yourself, I said. I was glad to see Rinaldi again. He had spent 2 years teasing me, and I always liked it. We understood each other very well. Are you married? He asked from the bed. I was standing against the wall by the window. Not yet. Are you in love? Yes, I said. With that English girl? Yes, I said. Poor baby. Is she good to you? Of course, I said. I mean, is she good to you, practically speaking? Shut up. I will. You see, I am a man of extreme delicacy. Does she, you see the little dash there? Does she what? Uh-huh. Rennie, I said, please shut up. If you want to be my friend, shut up. I don't want to be your friend, baby. I am your friend. Well, then shut up. All right. I went over to the bed and sat down beside Rinaldi. He was holding his glass and looking at the floor. You see how it is, Renan? Oh, yeah, Rinaldi said. All my life I encounter sacred subjects. But there's very few of those with you. I suppose you must have them, too. He looked at the floor. You don't have any? No, he said. Not any? No, he said. I can say this about your mother and about your sister, and that about the same about your sister, Rinaldi said swiftly, and we both laughed. The old Superman, I said. Maybe I'm jealous, Rinaldi said. No, you're not. I don't mean like that. I mean something else. Have you seen any married friends? Have you any married friends? Yes, I said. Well, I haven't, Rinaldi said. Not if they love each other. Why not? Well, they don't like me, Rinaldi said. Why not? Well, I am the snake. I am the snake of reason. You're getting it mixed up, I said. The apple was reason. No. It was the snake. And he was more cheerful. You're better when you don't think so deeply, I said. I love you, baby, he said. You puncture me when I become a great Italian thinker. But I know many things that I can't say. I know more than you do. Yes, you do, I said. But you will have a better time. Even with remorse, you will have a better time. I don't think so, I said. Oh, yes, it's true. Already I am only happy when I am working. He looked at the floor again. You'll get over that, I said. No, I only like 2 things. One is bad for my work, and the other is over in a half hour or 15 minutes and sometimes less. Sometimes a good deal less, I said. Perhaps I've improved, baby. You don't know. But there are only 2 things in my work. You'll get other things. No, we never get anything. We're born with all we have, and we never learn. We never get anything new. We all start complete. You should be glad not to be a Latin. There's no such thing as a Latin. That is Latin thinking. You're so proud of your defects. Rinaldi looked up and laughed. Well, stop, baby. I'm tired of thinking so much. He looked tired when he came in. It's nearly time to eat. I'm glad you're back. You are my best friend and my war brother. When do the war brothers eat? I asked. Right away. We'll drink once more for your liver's sake, like St. Paul. No, you're inaccurate. That was wine and the stomach. Take a little wine for your stomach's sake. Whatever you've got in the bottle, I said, and for any sake you mention. To your girl, Rinaldi said, and he held out the glass. All right, I said. I'll never say a dirty thing about her. Well, don't strain yourself. He drank off the cognac. I am pure, he said. I am like you, baby. I will get an English girl, too. As a matter of fact, I knew your girl first, but she was a little tall for me. A tall girl for a sister, he quoted. You have a lovely pure mind, I said. Haven't I? That's why they call me Ronaldo Prosimo, very pure. Ronaldo Sporchimio, very dirty. Come on, baby, we'll go down and eat while my mind is still pure. I washed, combed my hair, and we went down the stairs, and Rinaldi was a little drunk. In the room where we ate, the meal was not quite ready. I'll go get a bottle, Rinaldi said, and he went up the stairs, and I sat at the table, and he came back with a bottle and poured us each a half a tumbler of cognac. Too much, I said, and held the glass and sighted at the lamp at the table. Not for an empty stomach. It's a wonderful thing. It burns out the stomach completely, and there's nothing worse for you, he said. All right. Self-destruction, day by day, Rinaldi said. It ruins the stomach. It makes the hand shake. It's just the thing for a surgeon. So you recommend it? Heartily. I use no other. Drink it down, baby, and look forward to being sick. I drank half the glass. In the hall, I could hear the orderly calling, Soup! Soup is ready! The major came in, nodded to us, and sat down. He seemed very small at the table. Is this all we are? He asked. The orderly put up the soup bowl down and ladled out the plateful. We are all, Rinaldi said, unless the priest comes. If he knew Frederico was here, he'd be here. Well, where is he? I asked. He's at the 307, the major said. He was busy with his soup. He wiped his mouth, wiping his upturned gray mustache carefully. He will come, I think. I called them and left word to tell him that you were here. I missed the noise of the mess, I said. Yes, it's quiet, the major said. I'll be noisy, Rinaldi said. Drink some wine, Enrico, said the major. He filled my glass. The spaghetti came in and we were all busy. We were finishing the spaghetti when the priest came in. He was the same as ever, small and brown and compact looking. I stood up and we shook hands and he put his hand on my shoulder. I came as soon as I heard, he said. Sit down, said the major. You're late. Good evening, priest, Rinaldi said, using the English word. They had taken that up from the priest-baiting captain who spoke a little English. Good evening, Rinaldo, the priest said. The orderly brought him soup, but he said he would start with the spaghetti. How are you? He asked me. Fine, I said. How have things been? Drink some wine, priest, Rinaldi said. Take a little wine for your stomach state. That's St. Paul, you know. Yes, I know, said the priest politely. Rinaldi filled his glass. That's St. Paul, said Rinaldi. He's the one who makes all the trouble. The priest looked at me and smiled. I could see that the baiting didn't touch him now. That's St. Paul, Rinaldi said. He was a rounder and a chaser, and then when he was no longer hot, he said it was no good. When he was finished, he made up the rules for us who are still hot. Isn't that true, Frederico? The major smiled. We were eating meat stew now. I never discuss a saint after dark, I said. The priest looked up from the stew and smiled at me. There he is, gone over with the priest, Rinaldi said. Where are all the good old priest-baiters? Where's Cavalcanti? Where's Brundini? Where's Cesare? Do I have to bait this priest alone, without support? He's a good priest, the major said. He is a good priest, Rinaldi said, but he's still a priest. I try to make the mess like the old days. I want to make Frederico happy. To hell with you, priest. I saw the major look at him and noticed that he was drunk. His thin face was white. The line of his hair was very black against his white of his forehead. It's all right, Rinaldo, said the priest. It's all right. To hell with you, said Rinaldi. To hell with the whole damn business. He sat back in his chair. He's been under strain and he's tired, the major said to me. He finished his meat, wiped up the gravy with a piece of bread. I don't give a damn, Rinaldi said to the table. To hell with the whole business. He looked defiantly around the table, his eyes flat, his face pale. All right, I said, to hell with the whole damn business. No, said Rinaldi, you can't do it. You can't do it. I say you can't do it. You're dry and you're empty and there's nothing else. There's nothing else, I tell you, not a damn thing. I know when I stop working. The priest shook his head. The orderly took away the stew dish. What are you eating meat for? Rinaldi turned to the priest. Don't you know it's Friday? It's Thursday, the priest said. It's a lie. It's Friday. You're eating the body of our Lord. It's God meat. I know it's a dead Austrian. That's what you're eating. The white meat is from the officers, I said, completing the old joke. Rinaldi laughed. He filled his glass. Don't mind me, he said. I'm just a little crazy. You ought to have a leave, the priest said. The major shook his head at him. Rinaldi looked at the priest. You think I ought to have a leave? The major shook his head at the priest again. Rinaldi was looking at the priest. Just like you, the priest said. Not if you don't want. To hell with you, Rinaldi said. They try to get rid of me. Every night they try to get rid of me, and I fight them off. What if I have it? Everybody has it. The whole world's got it. First, he went on, assuming a manner of a lecturer, it's a little pimple. And then we notice a rash between the shoulders. And then we notice nothing at all. We put our faith in Mercury. Or Salvarezan, the major interrupted quietly. A mercurial product, Rinaldi said. He acted very elated now. I know something worth two of that, good old priest. He said, you'll never get it. Baby will get it. It's an industrial accident. It's a simple industrial accident. The orderly brought in sweet and coffee. The dessert was a sort of black bread pudding with hard sauce. The lamp was smoking, the black smoke close up inside the chimney. Bring 2 candles and take away the lamp, the major said. The orderly brought 2 lighted candles, each in a saucer, took out the lamp, blowing it out. Rinaldi was quiet now. He seemed all right. We talked, and after the coffee, we all went out in the hall. You want to talk to the priest? I have to go to town, Rinaldi said. Good night, priest. Good night, Rinaldo, the priest said. I'll see you, Freddie, Rinaldi said. Yes, I said. Come in early. He made a face and went out the door. The major was standing with us. He's very tired and overworked, he said. He thinks, too, that he has syphilis. I don't believe it, but he may have it. He's treating himself for it. Good night. You will leave before daylight, Enrico? Yes. Goodbye, then, he said, and good luck. Meduzzi will wake you and go with you. Goodbye, Signor Maggiore. Goodbye, and they talk about the Austrian offensive, but I don't believe it. I hope not. But anyway, if you won't be here, Gino will tell you everything. The telephone works well now. I will call regularly. Please do. Good night. Don't let Rinaldi drink so much brandy. I'll try not to, I said. Good night, priest. Good night, Signor Maggiore. He went off into his office. Chapter 26. I went to the door and looked out. It had stopped raining, but there was a mist. Should we go upstairs? I asked the priest. I can only stay a little while. Well, come on up. We climbed the stairs, went into my room. I lay down on Rinaldi's bed, and the priest sat on my cot that the orderly had set up. It was dark in the room. Well, he said, how are you really? I'm all right. I'm tired tonight. I'm tired too, but from no cause. What about the war? I think it'll be over soon. I don't know why, but I feel it. How do you feel it? Well, you know how your major is, gentle. Well, many people are like that now. I feel that way myself, I said. It's been a terrible summer, said the priest. He was surer of himself now than when I had gone away. You cannot believe how it has been, except that you have been there and you know how it can be. Many people have realized the war this summer. Officers whom I thought could never realize it now. Notice the pronoun it. Remember it before? What will happen? I stroked the blanket with my hand. I don't know, but I don't think it can go on much longer. What will happen? I asked. Well, they will stop fighting. Who? I asked. Both sides. I hope so, I said. But you don't believe it. I don't believe both sides will stop fighting at once, I said. Well, I suppose not, the priest said. It's too much to expect. But when I see the changes in men, I do not think it can go on. Who won the fighting this summer? I asked. Nobody. The Austrians won, I said. They kept them from taking San Gabriel. They've won. They won't stop fighting. If they feel as we feel, they may stop. They have gone through the same thing. No one has ever stopped when they were winning, I said. You discourage me. I can only say what I think, I said. Then you think it will go on? Nothing will ever happen? I don't know. I only think the Austrians will not stop when they have won a victory. It is in defeat that we become Christian. The Austrians are Christian, except for the Bosnians. No, I don't mean technically Christian. I mean like our Lord. He said nothing. We are all gentler now because we are beaten. How would our Lord have been if Peter had rescued him from the garden? He would have been just the same, said the priest. I don't think so, I said. You discourage me, he said. I believe and I pray that something will happen. I have felt it very close. Well, something may happen, I said, but it will happen only to us. If they felt the way we do, it would be all right, but they have beaten us, and they feel a different way. Many of the soldiers have always felt this way. It's not because they were beaten. Well, they were beaten to start with. They were beaten when they took them from their farms and put them in the army. That is why the peasant has wisdom, because he's defeated from the start. Put him in power and see how wise he is. He didn't say anything. He was thinking. Well, now I'm depressed myself, I said. That's why I never think about these things. I never think, and yet when I begin to talk, I say the things that I have found out in my mind without thinking. And now notice I'm telling you who's saying what to follow the dialogue, right? This is an important point, right? This point right here, that's important. You mark that? I never think about these things. I never think, and yet when I begin to talk, I say the things I have found out in my mind without thinking. I had hoped for something. Defeat? No, something more. There isn't anything more except victory, and it may be worse. I hoped for a long time for victory. Well, me too. Now I don't know. It has to be one or the other, I said. I don't believe in victory anymore, says the priest. I don't, but I don't believe in defeat, though it may be better. Well, what do you believe in? In sleep, I said. He stood up. I'm very sorry to have stayed so long, but I like to talk with you. It's very nice to talk again. I said that about sleeping, meaning nothing. We stood up, shook hands in the dark. I sleep at the 307 now, he said. I'll go out on post early tomorrow, so I'll see you when you come back. We'll have a talk again, and we'll have a walk and a talk together. I walked him to the door. Don't go down, he said. It is very nice that you are back, though not so nice for you. He put his hand on my shoulder. It's all right for me, I said. Good night. Good night. Ciao, ciao, I said. I was deadly sleepy. When we read Moby Dick, there's a line in there by Stubb, one of the mates, and one of the laws that he's following is that sleep when you can. Sleep when you can. Okay, before we go and end this reading, I want to go back to this section here where they're talking about the snake of reason, right? Where was that? Let's go back. Find the snake. Come on. Reference. Rinaldi, you get mixed up. The apple was reason, says the narrator. And Rinaldi says, no, I am the snake of reason. You're getting it mixed up. Apple was reason. No, it was the snake, says Rinaldi. Okay? All right. What's that a reference to? That's a reference to Genesis, right? And I took from King James Bible. And the Lord commanded the man, saying, of every tree in the garden thou mayest freely eat, but of the tree of knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat. For the day that thou eatest, thou shalt surely die. So God gives Adam the commandment, and Eve, don't eat from this tree of knowledge. Do not eat. Because the day you eat, you will die. Got it? So the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord hath made. And he said unto the woman, God hath said, ye shall not eat of every tree in the garden? And the woman said to the serpent, we can eat the fruit of the trees, but the fruit of the tree which is in the middle of the garden, knowledge of good and evil, God has said, you shall not eat of it, nor should you touch it, lest you die. And then the snake serpent said to the woman, you should surely not die, for God knows that in the day that you eat thereof, then your eyes will be open, and you shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and the tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit, and she did eat it, and also gave it to her husband with her, and he did eat it. So the snake comes along and tells him, the day you're going to eat this, God knows the day you eat it, your eyes are going to be open and you'll be like gods. Not like God, but like gods. Because you'll know good from evil, right? So, and the eyes of them both were open, and they knew that they were naked. So they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons. And then they heard the voice of the Lord walking in the garden in the cool of the day, and Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Lord God among the trees of the garden. And then the Lord God called unto Adam and said unto him, where art thou? And Adam said, I heard thy voice in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, and I hid myself. And God said, well, who told you you were naked? Who told thee that thou wast naked? Hast thou eaten from the tree where I commanded thee that you shouldn't eat? And the man said, the woman thou gavest to me, she gave me of the tree, and I did eat it. And the Lord said to the woman, what is this that thou hast done? And the woman said, the serpent beguiled me, so I did it. God said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, every beast of the field, and upon thy belly thou shalt go, in the dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, man and woman, and between thy seed and her seed, and it shall bruise thy, and then he launches into that. So if we go back and we look at what Rinaldi and the narrator were talking about with the reference, Rinaldi says, I am the snake. I am the snake of reason. And the narrator corrects him, and he says, apple was the reason. I don't know where he got apple. I didn't see. Did you see apple? Did you see apple? So I didn't see apple. I saw a tree. Fruit. No, it was the snake, Rinaldi said. You're better off when you don't think so deeply. So if we look at this good and evil thing, and we look at that, that's something to think about and talk about sometime. It's very important when they have these illusions, because they add meaning to the story, right? The snake comes along and says, if you eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, you're going to be like gods. Your eyes will be open, and you'll know good from evil. Until then, they didn't know good from evil. They were what? Like children, right? They don't know good from evil. They're like children. They don't know what's good and evil. But they knew, and the minute they ate that fruit, right, they knew they were naked. So is naked bad? Well, they sewed fig leaves together. And God said, who told you you were naked? Well, you ate the fruit, so you realized you were naked. So nakedness, is it good or bad? These are deep questions, and we don't have to answer them now. But Rinaldi says he's the snake of reason. In a way, Rinaldi's right, because reasoning is what gives you the knowledge of good and evil, doesn't it? Without reason, you're not going to know. You're just not going to know. You have to reason. So the snake of reason makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Doesn't it? You've been reading with Jimmy. This is Jimmy. We've been reading Farewell to Arms. It's a wonderful novel. It's deep. This was a few chapters into book 3, basically book 3, chapter 25 and 26. Email me your questions, Reading with Jimmy, Jimmy at readingwithjimmy.com. And again, really enjoy having you. Enjoy Farewell to Arms with me. Have a great day and stay safe. Be careful what you eat.